Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. I am your host, Ramon Preston, and guess what? Today, on this beautiful Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the income ladder of success. The income ladder of success. I'm super excited about it. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to hit the like button. I want you to hit the share button. Tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know your boy, Prophet Ramon, and the squad. We are live on the Ramon Preston Show on this beautiful Tuesday, January the 11th, 2022. We are live right here in his house. Please hit the like button, hit the share button, and tag Lolly Dolly and everybody and let them know Prophet Ramon's about to talk about the income ladder of success. The income ladder of success. Now, I do have my diagram, my docked up board behind me that I'm gonna walk you through a few questions that you're gonna have to have clear answers on when it comes to the income ladder of success. But again, please, wherever you're watching us from, I want you to put in the comments, even my IG family, Instagram, I want you to put in the comments where you're watching us from. It's very important for you to share that information with us. It ain't like we gonna lurk and try to find you. It's just that we want our other community members to know who's actually watching us and where they're watching us from. And so while you're doing that, I want to give a big shout out to all of our Millionaire Blueprint students, those of you that have enrolled into our Millionaire Blueprint, which is our online business and financial wealth building system. I want to congratulate you. I want to give you a shout out. I'm so excited for your personal, your professional, and your financial success, particularly this year. I also want to give a shout out to all of our Millionaire Mentorship members, those of you who have either showed interest in or perhaps you have made the commitment to join our Millionaire Mentorship program. I want to congratulate you. I want to give you a huge shout out. This is going to be your 6 or 7 figure year, and we can actually make that happen. We have enough information, we have enough dedication, we have enough practice, and guess what? We have relationships within our business community that will facilitate your 6 and 7 figure success. So shout out to all of you. For those of you who are coaches, consultants, or trainers, you're in the same similar space as I am. I want you to know that we do have a coaching and consulting certification program that we are training coaches and consultants to do what it is that we do. There's a certain system, a certain process that we use to consult our clients, to coach our clients, whether it's business coaching, financial coaching, or real estate coaching. We actually coach and consult our clients in all 3 of those areas. We actually do it for ministry as well. But for those of you who are coaches, consultants, trainers, and you might not necessarily be in the same space that I'm in. You might be in another space of coaching, consulting, and training. But if you're looking for ways to become better at your craft, you're looking for new systems and processes to use to increase your productivity and to make more of an impact on your client base, we have a certification program specifically designed for coaches, consultants, and trainers. We also have a licensing program just in case you want to be a coach or consultant or trainer, or just in case you just want to add more inventory to your current business so that you can generate more sales, more revenue, and be able to get to where you want to go quicker. I always encourage people, when you need a vehicle, meaning that when you need a certain business or a certain product or service that can be used to scale your business, to literally put fire to the flames that are already burning in your heart so that you can start getting that bag. Sometimes it's best to just connect or collaborate or partner with or affiliate yourself with other businesses or companies that may have products and services that you can use, whether it's network marketing, affiliate marketing, whether it's licensing like what we provide. So just know, wherever you are within this ecosystem of what we are introducing to you on a day-to-day basis through the Ramon Preston Show, we have products, we have programs, we have services to at least meet that criteria to help you move your personal life, your professional life, and your financial life forward. Of course, I'll be sharing more information with you at the end of today's show. But you can always go to RamonPreston.com. That's RamonPreston.com. RamonPreston.com. And there you will find everything that we're doing at Ramon Preston Enterprises. You'll find more information out about our university, our Millionaire Blueprint, our Millionaire Mentorship Program, our certification program, our licensing program. You'll even find out more about our School of Ministry and our School of Prophets if you believe God has called you to do great things within the context of the local church. So again, welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. I am your host, Ramon Preston, and today I want to talk to you about the income ladder of success. So the first question that I want to answer for you is, what exactly is the income ladder of success? As I mentioned earlier, here is the diagram. Here is what it is that we're using to give you a visual representation of what the income ladder of success is. So what exactly is the income ladder of success? Well, by definition, if I had to give you something to clarify and to describe what you see behind me, the income ladder of success describes the stages, actually the 8 stages of income classes. Now, before you start sipping on your haterade, just in case you one of those haters, before you start sipping on your haterade or you start criticizing and critiquing me and trying to nitpick to find angles or areas where there are weak spots, please understand this income ladder of success is nothing new, okay? You can Google income classes. You can Google tax brackets. You can Google socioeconomic positions and conditions. And of course, you're not going to find this because this is what my marketing team and my design team puts together. However, you may find things that are relatively close or similar to what it is that I have here. I personally believe that there are at least 8 stages of income classes. And so when you describe what I call the income ladder of success, you're basically describing the eight stages of income classes. So now it's very important for you to understand this, because where you go in your personal life, where you go in your financial life, where you go in your professional life, whether it's with a career or whether it's with a business system, is going to be connected to and associated with your knowledge, your understanding, and really your relationship with the 8 stages of income classes. In other words, if you don't really know where you're going, then you're really not going to understand the details of the roadmap that you're using to get there. I mean, it's kind of like getting in a car and you just driving. Like, where you going, dog? Where you going, sis? Somebody needs to figure out where is the destination so that they can have clarity on each juncture, each milestone. Okay, so I live in Buckhead, the north side of Atlanta. If I want to go to the south side of Atlanta, I need a roadmap. I need a sense of direction. And so if I-75 South is a highway that I can use to go from the north side of the A to the south side of the A, I need to have a roadmap or a sense of direction for that. Why? Because I'd be on 285 going in circles, or I'd be on 20 East or 20 West, or I'd be on 85 North leaving the state of Georgia, or I'll just be stuck on a side road. So having a sense of direction, having a financial or economic roadmap is going to assist you in continuing to get through those stages of income classes. And so this is why this income ladder of success is so important. So by definition, if you wanted to have words to describe what the income ladder of success is, I want you to write that down. The income ladder of success describes the 8 stages of income classes. And again, I believe, based on my research and study, based on my observations, based on the wealthy people and the rich people and the millionaires and those that are like literally in the 1%, based on their patterns, based on their principles and their practices, I believe that there are at least 8 stages of income classes, and they make up collectively what I call the income ladder of success. All right, so now, why should you care about the income ladder of success? Again, because it is going to be the roadmap for you. It is going to give you a sense of direction, meaning that in order for you to even have knowledge of and an understanding of and really a healthy relationship with this thing that we call the income ladder of success, guess what you got to do? You got to do the math. And I say math not with a TH, I say math with an F. You got to do the math, dog. You got to be able to do the MAF. You got to do the math. You got to be able to literally quantify mathematically where you want to go. Because see, I know it's a whole lot of people, especially on social media, especially all the gurus and the wannabes, and perhaps there are some who doing their best to be, but they just haven't become what they want to be. But there are a lot of people who don't mind capping. That's another word for faking. That's another word for living a hypocritical life with regard to success that they have not obtained. But a lot of these people, they justify what they have not obtained by making sense of where they are, okay? And they make sense of where they are. We're talking about economically or financially in terms of a ladder like this. They make sense of where they are by not putting a dollar amount or by not doing the math and calculating mathematically where they are. So, for example, if you are at a certain dollar amount per year, or if you are at a certain dollar amount in your overall net worth, if that dollar amount per year or that overall dollar amount for your net worth is not substantial enough to give you the freedom that you should have in your financial life, then a lot of times your ego and your pride will take over you and get the best of you and will force you to start making sense of it and justifying it by explaining to other people on platforms like social media that, oh, it ain't all about the money. Well, who said it was all about the money other than you? Because you're saying it ain't. And then we start using different things to validate where we are, because we know mathematically we're not where we want to be. But for those of you that understand that the income ladder of success is going to be used as a financial scoreboard, and you're in the game of life, you're in the game of business, you're in the game of building a legacy and establishing financial wealth for you and for your family, you understand that if you're going to get in the game, you need to have a scoreboard, okay? I've never watched a game. Have y'all? Have y'all? Have you watched a football game? Have you watched a basketball game? Have you watched a soccer game? Have you watched a golf game? I've even watched pool. I've even watched card games where people quantified the success of that game with what? With math, with numbers. And so this is one of the reasons why you should care about this income ladder of success, because if this income ladder of success makes up or describes 8 income classes, and each one of these income classes not only represents a certain percentage of households in America, but each of these income classes also represents a certain dollar amount that one makes per year, or it may represent their overall net worth. Okay, so there's a slight difference between the amount of money you make a year and your overall net worth, but we'll work on reconciling that in just a few. But you want to know, where are you when it comes to this income ladder? So my question to you is, where you at? Where you at? You don't have to put it in the comments. You ain't got to expose yourself. You don't really even have to feel bad, because the truth is, If you're in the red, guess what? Congratulations for joining the club, because I've been in the red. As a matter of fact, I am 45 years old. I just did some of the math on this a couple weeks ago. I'm 45 years old, right? And when I started doing the math, I realized I was in the red. I was in this income class for 26 years of my 45 years on this planet. So that means I didn't leave this income class until I was 26 years old. And shout out to my wife, because it wasn't until I got married my value went up, and marrying my wife automatically pushed me up beyond the red, and it at least put me in a different, we call it tax bracket, but more properly speaking, it is not another tax bracket as much as it is another income class. All right, now if you have any questions, please put the questions in the comments. If for some reason I cannot get back to the questions while we're live, we'll do our best. My team is always lurking. I know y'all lurking. My team is lurking. They're watching. They're observing. They're getting the game while I'm giving the game, but they're also available to take your questions so that we can do our best to answer your questions while we're live. As I always mention, I'm still working on getting our studio finalized and built out so that we will have the technological capabilities of maybe just clicking a button and you can call in and answer your question. But until that time comes, shoot, I'm scrapping. It is what it is. We here, we live, we're giving you the game, we're educating you, because this is a part of my calling, this is a part of my assignment, this is a part of my mission to help you get to your next level. And the way you're going to get to your next level is by being able to properly start, structure, and scale your businesses, your ministries, for those of you that are in ministries, your income streams, and your wealth building dreams. So the question that I just asked was, where are you? What income class are you in currently right now? So how do you quantify that? How do you do the math? Well, how much you make a year? If you make $32,000 a year or less, you would be considered poor class. And we're talking about just economically, okay? We're not saying spiritually you poor. We ain't saying mentally or psychologically you poor. We ain't saying physically or relationally you poor. Again, we're not going to try to make sense of this. If we're here, it's not like we're being condescending towards ourselves. We just want to be real with ourselves, because if I don't know where I am, and if I can't map where I am to where I want to go, then I have no sense of direction. And I think too many of us today, in 2022, are living our lives without a sense of financial direction. It doesn't mean you don't have spiritual direction. It doesn't mean you do not have mental or emotional or psychological direction. It doesn't mean physically you don't have a sense of direction. But those are not the areas that I am talking about. I am talking about your economic situation, your financial situation. Maybe your professional or business situation is included in that. So we want a sense of direction. So I want you to identify with what income class are you in? What income class are you in? That's very, very important. Now, again, if you are very engaging and you don't mind sharing your information and your life with the world, my life is an open book. I don't mind sharing my information and my life with the world. Of course, there are certain things that are intimate and personal that I might not just share with the world, because it ain't none of the world's business. But for the most part, the things that I know could bring value to my family, to my community, I'm going to share them. And so I started out the first 26 years of my life right here as one of the 29%. So if you are poor class, if you make $32,000 a year, that's the income class you're in. Now, this section here, you have three classes. You have the lower middle class, that's $32,000 to $60,000. You have the middle class, that's the middle of the middle, that's $60,000 to $110,000. And then you have the upper class, the upper middle class, which is $110,000 to $400,000. Now, I'm probably going to take the next few days, tomorrow is Wednesday, so I'll probably be talking about real estate tomorrow. But either way, I'll take Thursday and Friday, the rest of this week, to really talk about certain components of this income ladder of success. It's actually a new course that we just added to our Millionaire Blueprint, because this has really been like near and dear to my heart, especially for the last few months. I've just had too many conversations with my people who don't even have a sense of where they are financially, meaning that they don't have a sense of where they want to go financially, and they have not quantified it. They haven't really done the math. They just waking up every day like, man, I just need to get through this. I need to get the bag. I need some money. Yeah, but you need to quantify that. You need to do the math. And it starts with you knowing where you are with numbers and where you want to be with numbers, and how you're going to get there. Guess what? With numbers. It's all a numbers game. It's all mathematics, okay? And then we have the 1%, which is the upper class. That's 400,000 to 1 million. The millionaires, 1 million to 10 million. The rich, 10 million to 100 million. The wealthy, 100 million and beyond. Now again, some people may agree with my mathematical calculations of these income classes, but trust me, when you start educating yourself and when you start climbing this ladder, you're going to start to realize, truth is, wherever you are on this ladder, I guarantee you can almost do what I'm doing right now to explain to people that it ain't what it looked like. Okay? So let me explain to you a few things that I mean by that, because I do have a few questions that I want to ask you. But let me explain to you what I mean by that when I say it ain't what it looked like. Okay? First of all, the poor class, those who make $32,000 or less a year, all right, they represent 29% of households in America. All right, so let's just kind of even it out. There are 130 million households in America. Okay? There are 130 million households in the U.S. All right? So out of 130 million households in the U.S., 29% of those households are considered poor class, which means these households are made up of individuals who make $32,000 a year or less. Now, there's some weight to this because, first of all, if you are making $32,000 a year or less, even though you are categorically considered from an economic perspective poor class, but you make up 29% of America. So poor people are not the majority in America. Like if you listen to some people, you would think everybody's poor is just because they have not categorically done the math on where people are. Now that can be good or bad, but if you are here is what I want to say to you, and I'll take a few days this week with the show to talk about different classes that are represented here. But since I'm on the poor class, let me just say this to you. If you are making $32,000 a year or less, and categorically you are considered to be economically the poor class, and you make up 29% of the 130 million households in America, that means you are one of the 3 out of 10 people in America who make less than $32,000 a year. Your target, that's going to be something I talk about in a few moments, your next financial target should not be any of this in the middle. You do not want to have a target for the 70%. I'm telling you, this can be as lethal and as fatal as being here. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that, because if you are making anywhere between $32,000 a year and right under $400,000 a year, particularly if you are lower middle class, $32,000 to $60,000, middle class, $60,000 to $110,000, even the lower part of the upper middle class, 110 moving up. If you are in this space, to some extent, if you look at all of the granular details of your economic and financial life, you are worse off than the poor class. That's a big, bold statement. I said you are worse off to some extent than the poor class. Why? Because at least the poor class have systems, have organizations, and have infrastructures that have been created and built to support them from an economic or financial perspective. I'll give you a few examples. A household in the poor class may have children that could get free lunch, have children that can get daycare paid for, have children that can get Medicaid paid for, have children that can get some type of benefits for housing in the poor class, where a family in this class of classes won't even have the luxury of getting those benefits because according to the socioeconomic category of their income, they make too much money. If you're in the middle, you've probably heard that before. If you're making anywhere between $32,000 and right under $400,000, especially if you're in this 32,000 to 110, you or your household as a whole may have heard those types of statements where you're told you can't get daycare paid for because you make too much money. You can't get assistance with your housing because you make too much money. You can't get benefits with this program because you make too much money. When the truth is, you don't make too much money. It's just that from the perspective of these income classes, you make too much money to be considered poor class, but you really don't make too much money. I know some people who just fluff their feathers up. Oh yeah, they told me I make too much money. That's really not a compliment. That's really a slap in your face because they're telling you that you don't make enough money to be considered poor, but you don't make enough money to live a comfortable life, not with luxuries, but just with the necessities. Are you with me on that? So this set of income classes, you do not want to set a target and have this grand goal to get into this. Because here's what happened to me. I'll give my story. What happened to me was the first 26 years of my life, I was poor class. I couldn't have even fathomed making $32,000 a year. I think the most money I ever made prior to me and my wife getting married was maybe $10 an hour. And the only reason why I made $10 an hour was because the job was $9 an hour, but they offered you an extra dollar if you denied getting insurance through them. So they gave you an extra dollar, but you couldn't get insurance. And I was like a young, hyper hustler. And I was like, man, I ain't thinking about no doggone insurance. Let me get that extra dollar. So I was making $10 an hour at the height of my workforce career, whatever it was called. Okay. And so once my wife and I got married, of course, you got two people. You got two go-getters, you got two hustlers and grinders, and my wife and I came together 19 years ago, and one of the first decisions we made, even before we got married, was that we were going to be a two-person team. We were going to build an empire. We were going to get where we needed to go, but there were certain things we were missing in terms of information, in terms of data, in terms of doing the math, to get us past this and to get us into this. So even though just in theory, we may have been talking like, oh yeah, we want to get wealthy, we want to get the bag, we want to be millionaires, but we did not have the information. We did not have the financial intelligence. We did not have the entrepreneurial skill sets. We did not have the exposure of the granular details on how to become a part of the 1%. So guess what happened? Well, my wife was already middle class, but we immediately started climbing the middle class ladder because now we've got two incomes that are a part of this household. And even though we had to scrap to build our business from the ground up, and we had a lot of challenges because It's a grueling, grinding task to build a business or to build anything from the ground up. Nevertheless, once we started playing in this set of income classes, where we got thrown off at was we started listening to people who were in these classes. And the people who were in these classes could never make sense of being in the 1%. Because these were all the professionals we were working with in real estate. These were all the people that were providing the services to the people in the 1%, but they never really thought to put themselves in a position to become the 1%. And so my wife and I, we started living this upper middle class life of 6 figures. And I remember back in 2017, it's 2022, right? So we're talking about like 5 years ago this month, 2017, January. I remember like having this epiphany one morning, and I literally ran in the room. We were in our house at the time. I ran in the room and I asked my wife, I was like, honey, I started asking her questions about business, about life, about money and finances, just to see where her mind was. And you know, my wife is so cool. She like, baby, I'm with you, whatever you say, because she know I'm cray. I'm always coming up with ideas every 3 minutes. And I told her, I said, well, we need to pray. And we need to see what the Lord is saying about this. You know, you got to throw God in there, right? And so it was like a couple days later, I went to my wife and I said, you know what, honey? We moving. We getting up out of this house. I'm going to get rid of one of these cars we got, the luxury cars. We're going to get rid of our building that we had in Stockbridge. We're going to just rearrange and reset our whole lives. And she was like, okay, so what are we going to do? Guess what I told her? I said, we're going to get wealthy. I said, I think I figured it out. I had been studying. I had been developing myself. I had been preparing myself with the right information that the wealthy and the rich and that millionaires and the upper class, the 1%, were living by. And I realized I did not do the right math. I was using a calculator. I was just using the wrong calculator. And so my mathematical calculations got me to upper middle class. We were 6 figures, but it never broke us through, to the extent that we would always hit a plateau. We would come down, we would go up, but we could never break through because we did not have the 1% type of information. We did not have the 1% type of behavior patterns. We did not have the 1% type of disciplines. We did not have the 1% type of systems and processes within our organizational enterprise. And so we could never break through that threshold. And even though it looked like on paper we were earning 6 figures and that we would be considered upper middle class, living in a nice house, driving nice cars, experiencing what may be considered some of the finer things in life. And hey, we worked hard for that. But the problem was, from an income perspective, just pure income perspective, it wasn't enough to satisfy the demand we had on our lives, not just to live our dreams, but to help others, like our family, our children, our tribe, our community, our church, live their dreams. And so this is what we all have to go through in order to break through these income class thresholds, or these barriers, these cycles. And from a spiritual perspective, it's really generational curses, especially for those of you like me. You come from below the bottom. I mean, you wasn't PO class, you was PO class, PO class. Like, we should have had another category down here, just PO, because that's where we come from. And so the 1% makes up the 400,000 or more. And so the last question I asked you was, where are you? What income class do you represent? What dollar amount do you represent per year or in your overall net worth? And don't be capping. Don't be lying. Don't be fluffing it up. Well, my intellectual assets are worth $360,000, and you know, I got 3 things over here that I have yet to liquidate. Ain't nobody finna buy that doggone necklace. You trying to calculate rings and 2 cars because you paid them off and they worth $2,000. Well, they could be assets, but you're not selling them. We're talking about just income that you have coming in every year to quantify where you are with regard to the income ladder and income classes, all right? Not inflated valuations or net worth that has no basis because a professional company hasn't necessarily assessed and evaluated your net worth to give you real data on where you are mathematically. So let's just talk in terms of real income, okay? So your income class should be the starting point. Where are you? Now the next question is, what is your financial freedom target? What is your financial freedom target? Or should I reword the question and ask, what financial freedom target should you actually have? Because if you're not clear on a lot of these things that I'm talking about, you might not be clear on what your financial freedom target should actually be. And everybody has their own idea of what their financial freedom target should be. And there are going to be some people who disagree with me on this, but listen to me when I say this, and you take it for what it is. But if you are a part of our community, if you follow me and you listen to me and you've seen my journey and you've seen what me and my wife have accomplished, and you know the truth about what we've accomplished, whether we share it and show it to the world or not, listen to me when I say this. Your freedom target should not be in this 70%. Your freedom target should not be in this 70%. Your starting point for a freedom target should be in the 1%. Because studies, surveys, statistics all show that if you make at least $400,000 a year in the United States of America, you are considered a 1%er. A 1%er, okay? If you make at least $400,000 a year, minimum, you are categorically a 1%er. So Ramon, what should be my freedom target? What should be my financial goal if I'm only making $18,000 a year? If I'm only making $7 an hour, if I'm only making $22.50 an hour, if I'm on a salary making $1,800 a month or $3,600 a month, what should be my freedom target? Your freedom target, if you just have to have a beginning freedom target, should be to get you and your family in the 1%. That would be to generate at least $400,000 a year. And again, if you're giving me kickback, or if your mind is like, come on, dog, are you serious? Like, you're delusional. No. I'm not delusional. You're delusional to think you're going to be able to make sense of here. I've tried that, so I know you can't make sense of it. And I have yet to have a conversation with someone who is like being honest, that's in the 1%. I've yet to have a real conversation with someone who's being honest, and I've had many conversations with people all the way up this ladder that have further validated what I'm saying, that you cannot make sense of living here. You cannot make sense. I don't care how below your means you live. I don't care how below your means you live. And the people who always use that as an excuse, because I've had people on social media to inbox me, to DM me, and they send me comments in certain things that I post, and they always put these little eloquent comments. Well, you can actually live on $50,000 a year, Ramon, if you don't live above your means. Well, how are you living? Is you living in a doggone trailer or a Winnebago on the side of the road? How you living, and where you living at? You ain't living in most metropolitan cities. And if you're in the suburbs, that ain't suburbs, that's boondocks. That's the only way you're going to be living off $20,000 a year, $15,000 a year. And it's not condescending. It's just eye-opening. Are you understanding me? I'm not being condescending. I just want it to be eye-opening that I cannot make sense of this, and I shouldn't want to. I should put myself in a spiritual, in a mental, in a emotional, in a physical, in a environmental, and in a financial space to make sense of getting out of this so I can at minimum get here. That should be your freedom target, at least $400,000 a year. Well, Ramon, can you please do the math for me on $400,000 a year? Well, let's do the math. I don't have my calculator. Can I hold your calculator? I saw you had a calculator in there. I'm gonna buy me a calculator just to have in here because I always use my phone for it. But I got Instagram on today, so I'm using Instagram today. Shout out to all of my IG family if you're on there. So let's do the math on 400,000. So if this is my freedom target, $400,000, how much is $400,000 a year? Oh my God, I got to learn how to use a calculator. Wow. 400,000 divided by 12 equals, that's 33, I'll just say 34,000. That's $34K a month. That's $34,000 a month. $34,000 a month, let's see, divided by 4 equals, that's $8,400 a month. $8,400 a week, rather. Is that correct? Yep, $8,400 a week. So in order for me or you or anyone who sets their freedom target at 400K to at least enter the 1%, in order for you to hit that $400,000 a month, a year target, you need to make at least $34,000 a month. You need to make at least $8,400 a week. And guess what the next question is going to be? Man, how am I going to make $400,000 a year? How am I going to make $34,000 a month? How am I going to make $8,400 a week? Let me explain something to you. Before I broke through the 70% and became a part of the 1%, I asked myself the same questions. Man, how am I going to do that? I remember a time all I was just trying to do is get like $1,500 a month. It's like, man, I just need to get this $900 a month rent paid. I got this $300-$400 car payment that need to be paid. I just need a couple $100 for the kids and for the wife and for the family. And me and my wife was like, man, we just scrapping to get about $2,000 of money in. Okay? But you at least need to open yourself up to the possibilities of this happening. You will never open yourself up to these possibilities if you continue to make sense of this. Well, maybe getting that 1% ain't for everybody. That's not true. That's not true. Well, maybe God don't want it that way. Don't even blame God in that now. Don't tell me God has just forced you into a human context that he has not opened you up to any options and to any possibilities of doing better than what you're doing. No, your religious beliefs, your theological views, your institutionalized perspectives have locked you in, and they have misdiagnosed those things to be God when that's not necessarily God forcing you into that context. There are many scriptures to support the fact that God will wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. There are scriptures in the Old Testament as well that support the fact that according to Deuteronomy 8:18, God will give you the power to get wealth so he can establish his covenant on the earth. So all of these blessings that God promises his people, all of these declarations and decrees of you being the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, lenders and not borrowers, and you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. But when it's time for you to start doing the math, no, that ain't the will of God. For you, it ain't, dog. For you, it ain't, sis. But for many people, they can put themselves in a spiritual position, in a mental position, in a physical position, and in a financial or economic position to achieve a freedom target. Okay? One of my mentors, when I heard him say it for the first time, so I have to give one of my mentors credit for this. But when I heard him say it for the first time, it was after my wife and I was already in the 1%. So it meant something different to me when I heard him say it. But when I heard one of my mentors say this for the first time, I understood what he was saying. And here's what he said. He said, it's not until you're north of $300,000 a year. This is what his number was. He said it's not until you're probably north of $300,000 a year that you start realizing there's a big change. And what he meant by that was the life that you're living, and it ain't that you're lavish, because my wife and I, we're not lavish people. I'm way more like lavish than my wife, and I'm not even lavish. My wife is extremely frugal, but he wasn't necessarily suggesting that the lavishness of your life is going to be different. He was really referring to just the peace of mind, a sense of stability that you have in your life when you get north of 300,000. And when he said it, the first time I heard it, I was like, you are so right. Because for years, my wife and I, we were from the lower middle class, we went to the middle class, and then we got categorically to the upper middle class, and we had things, but as much money we had coming in, we had that and probably more through credit cards going out, because the lifestyle changes that we made as we climbed that ladder demanded all of the money that we were making. So there was never anything left for anything to happen that we didn't plan for. I mean, oh my God, a tire go flat. We like, oh my God, something happened with a car, or the sump pump goes out at the house, or, you know, there's a toilet that needs to be replaced, or there are 3 trees that fall and we realize that we've got 20 other trees in the yard. I mean, all kind of stuff just go on. At our building, we had things happen where the AC unit goes out, or whatever the case is, or a family member dies, or something happens to a close friend that they just need emergency support. And we realized that it just wasn't enough. And so you could take bag lunches to work. You can pass Starbucks and QT and Dunkin' Donuts every day. You can eat out of a can. You can wear the same drawers for the next 10 years. It doesn't mean it's going to change your income, meaning that it's going to climb you up that ladder. So becoming a beast at controlling expenses, becoming a beast at budgeting may be advantageous to you climbing that income ladder and reaching new income classes, but it ain't going to be everything. That's why most financial experts across the board unanimously believe that your income is by far your number one wealth building tool. So how do I get to $400,000 a year, $34,000 a month, $8,400 a week? Well, it's going to have a lot to do with the vehicles that you're using. The vehicles, meaning that you got to take a look at, okay, start doing the math and subtracting. Like, start going through the process of elimination. So for example, if you work 40 hours a week on a job, if you work 40 hours a week on a job, okay, and your job pays you, let's just say roughly, we'll just say, I know this ain't a real number, but $1,000 a week. Let's just say if your job pays you $1,000 a week. Well, $1,000 a week will be what? Maybe this is $1,000 a week. This is probably $4,000 a month. This is anywhere from $48K to $50K a year. So if this is your job situation at 40 hours a week, what will you have to do just to double that? You will actually have to work 2 of those jobs, 80 hours a week, just to make $100,000. So will that get you to 400,000? No. So you go through the process of elimination, realizing that what I'm currently doing is not the right vehicle to get me here. So don't change your target. You need to change the vehicle. See what I mean? So you have to start going through this process. You cannot change your target, because somebody will look at this and say, man, ain't no way in this world I can work a 40-hour week job making $50,000 a year. Most people don't make $50,000. Most people are going to be making about 20. And so you have to work 5 jobs at 40 hours a week to get to 100 grand if you're just at 20. So you'll never be able to make $400,000 a year with that particular job. It's okay that you won't be able to do it, but you just need to know that so you can start doing the math and the calculations on what exactly do I need to get into. That's why we're always talking about the vehicles. What vehicles do I need to get into that can get me $400,000 a year? So now I need to look at, do I need to join a network marketing company that have products and services that I can get a commission from? Do I need to get into affiliate marketing where I can have 6 or 7 products on social media that can make me 20 here, 30 there, 40 there? At least I have something as a vehicle with products and services that I can quantify. So for example, if you find a product or maybe a couple products that you can use that can make you $40 and that can make you $400 per product, let's say. Now I'm just using even numbers to show you how this works. Now, okay, I have a job, but I know my job is just gonna help me pay the bills. It ain't really paying all the bills, but at least I can look at my job and say, this is not going to be the thing that gets me to my freedom target, to where I'm a part of the 1%, to where I can start experiencing what Prophet Ramon is talking about you're going to experience once you get north of 300,000. So now I got to find vehicles. Well, what if I find vehicles, Prophet Ramon, and these vehicles require the ability to sell? Now we got another problem, because now I got to learn how to sell. What if the products and services that I find in these vehicles require me to own a business? Oh, now I got to own a business. What if these products and services require me to get into social media and get in front of a camera in a video? Well, guess what? I got to get into marketing now. I got to learn this stuff. But here's the thing. My question to you is, if getting here is more important than staying here or staying in here, you shouldn't let these things be your barriers. It is what it is, because you're listening and watching somebody who had to figure this stuff out. I didn't know how to sell professionally. I didn't know how to market. I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't know how to start and structure a business. I didn't know anything about systems, about processes. I didn't know anything about infrastructure, about leading and managing. I had to figure it all out. And I've had to figure it out before I had any networks or connections to mentors who had already figured it out. I just recently, within the last year or so, started paying my way into certain circles with people who are beyond wealthy. I didn't have the money to do it. But if I had the money, I didn't have the mindset at the time to do it, even if I did have a windfall, because I did not have the information. I did not have the education. This is why I'm so big on information and education. This is why I created that Millionaire Blueprint, our online training, because you got to learn about business. You got to learn how to start and structure businesses. You got to learn about systems and processes. You need to learn about sales and marketing, about goal setting, about scheduling, about being a boss and running an organizational enterprise. If you do not learn these things, I don't know how you expect to ever climb that ladder. You're going to stay stuck where you at. It ain't no way you're going to get out of these cycles. These are cycles. These are generational cycles. These are, to some extent, for some people, are curses, because it's been embedded in us to stay in these areas and just get what we can and just live life the way we can and just pray and just hope the chips fall where they fall. I ain't got time to wait for chips to fall where they fall. I ain't got time to hope and to pray and to wish that one day I'm gonna walk in Mobile or Circle K and buy a scratch off or a lottery ticket and I'm gonna hit it. What if it never happens? I know people who've been playing lottery and scratch offs their whole life and they still broke. I know people who go to the highlight, they go to the gambling house, they bet on every game and everything in life. If you say hey to them, they say, how much? Bet $20. I mean, that's just the way they live, but guess what? They still economically stuck. And the only way you're gonna get unstuck is if, number one, you start doing the math and you set the right target, a freedom target, and then you start going through the process of elimination and doing the math to figure out, what do I have to do to hit that target. And so let's say if you have vehicles, let's say you found 2 vehicles, because maybe your business is not a vehicle that has products that's good enough to make $40 per product or service, or $400, or maybe it is. But then you need to ask yourself, are these products and services that you're selling, are they in their current form scalable enough to get you to 400,000? So for example, if you're a 1-person team and you're providing a service to somebody, and that service is a $40 service or a $400 service, how many of those can you actually do in a day? Can you perform 10 a day? Let's say if you had a $400 service that you performed and provided, can you do 10 a day? Well, if you did 10 a day, let's just do the math. 400 times 10 equals 4,000. 4,000, that's a day, times 365 equals $1,460,000. That's if you can do $400 services a day 10 times a day. Can you do it 10 times? So that might be unrealistic for you, but at least if you do the math, you'll start eliminating possibilities. You're like, oh, okay, that ain't gonna happen. Ain't no way in this world I could do a 3-hour job 10 times a day for $400. I ain't got enough time in the day. I won't sleep. So guess what? You eliminate that particular product, or you'll do the math on other products. So if you do have a product, now you just divide 400 into 400,000. So let me see. If I have a $400,000 goal, I'm gonna divide that into $40. I got a $40 product. That means I gotta sell 10,000 products at $40. Okay? If I got a $400,000 goal and I got a $400 product, that means I gotta sell 1,000 products. So you see, at least I know what my products and services are, what my vehicles are, and I know how many I need to sell. Now you like, well, Ramon, okay, how is that gonna get me to 400,000? Selling 1,000 $400 products. Selling 10,000 $40 products. How do I sell them? You gotta market. You got to have business systems. You got to have automated technology. You have to get in front of more people. You got to send emails out. You got to build landing pages. You've got to do what business people who want to become a part of the 1% do. So I'm going to leave it there. As I said, tomorrow is Real Estate Wednesday. We typically talk about real estate on Wednesdays, but I'm going to do my best to come back around on Thursday and Friday, if I don't talk about it tomorrow, to further discuss these income classes, the income ladder of success, and the things that you need to do to hit your financial freedom targets. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway was and is from today's show. I would love to know if this information today was valuable to you. If it was, I would like ask you seriously to consider subscribing to our YouTube page, following us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. We're on all platforms at Ramon Preston. So that would be a huge thanks for you to follow us and to subscribe and to turn on your notifications so that when we go live every day, Monday through Friday, and even in between our show every day, when we post and when we share other information and content, that you're getting the notifications on, that would be a big thank you. But also, if you're interested in learning these things that I have learned and developed and that I have packaged in the form of our Millionaire Blueprint and our Millionaire Mentorship program, if you're interested in being a part of our program and you would like to know more information about it, maybe you just need to know what the training is, what the details are, what the commitment is, or maybe you just have other questions to make sure that what our programs have in terms of business and financial training are the things that you need to climb that income ladder. All of what I'm saying to you and teaching you, I'm living. So it's easy for me to talk about it. It's easy for me to give explanation of it. And it's easy for my team to communicate it because they know I'm living it, and I'm able to teach it and communicate it because I'm living it. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to text the word millionaire to 678-922-1963. I want to plug you into our Millionaire Blueprint, or maybe you are interested in joining our Millionaire Mentorship program, okay? So our Millionaire Blueprint is our online business and financial training wealth building system. It is an on-demand, interactive, 24-hour-a-day access training system that teaches you, trains you, and provides tutorials, documents, forms, and hundreds of video lessons on starting and structuring your holding company. We show you how to file and form your paperwork. We train you on sales and marketing. We show you how to create a sales system and a sales process, even a script for your business. We teach you some of the fundamentals of marketing from the perspective of you learning how to brand yourself and how to get the right attention so that you can create conversions for your business. We also have training lessons on financial literacy. We teach the ABCs of financial literacy. The A for accounting. We show you the most important components of accounting. The B for balance sheets. The C for cash flow. We have strategic strategies that we, creative strategies that we teach you on minimizing your taxes, maximizing your tax deductions, increasing your income in most cases by 30% within 30 days. That's whether you are a W-2, a 1099, a network marketer, or a business owner. We've even done this for people in ministry, people who have churches. I've seen it across the board. I know these strategies work because I work them. I run an entire organizational enterprise. I have a church charter. I have a network. I assume the role of an apostle. I have a for-profit holding company with divisions and subsidiaries. I have a real estate investment firm that is positioned to acquire and manage assets. And so I know everything that I'm sharing with you actually works. That Millionaire Blueprint also has courses on goal setting, on real estate investing, on scheduling, on other business and corporate systems. It's an entire wealth building system. Literally everything you would need to start, structure, and scale any business, any ministry, any income stream, and any wealth building dream. Now, our Millionaire Mentorship program is a 1-year accelerated coaching and consulting program. So you not only get access to our Millionaire Blueprint in the mentorship program, but you get access to me as your personal coach and consultant. And depending on what tier in our Millionaire Mentorship program you choose, that will determine the regularity of the coaching check-ins that you will have. So if you want more information, if you have more questions, or if you would like us to reach out to you, just text the word millionaire to 678-922-1963. And while you're waiting for us to return the call, when you text that name to that number, I want you to go to RamonPreston.com. Take a look at all of the programs and the services and the products that we have in our organizational enterprise. And maybe you want to Google me if this is your first time listening to me and hearing me. Just Google Ramon Preston. And as I always tell my church family, anything that shows up before 1997, I'll take that. I'll charge that to the game. Don't hold that against me, because I wasn't saved. I was a hoodlum. I was a junkie. I was a dope boy. I was a trapper. I was a criminal. I was crazy. So anything that shows up on Google prior to 1997, please charge it to the game. Don't hold it to my life, okay? But anything after 1997, for the past 25 years, since I've been saved and sanctified and Holy Ghost filled and fire baptized, running for my life, it's gonna be all good. So I love y'all. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please give us feedback. Drop any questions you have in the comments. Text the word millionaire. You're only 11 days into the new year. It's time to get it going, to get it started. And today is the day. Why put off for tomorrow what you can do today? So love y'all. Have an amazing Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. IG on the Ramon Preston